Hey guys, Tyler here, and this is the Garage Warrior podcast and videocast, and I'm super excited today to have on the call with me Steve Maxwell. How's it going today, Steve?
It's going great. I'm actually in a little town called Oberthausen, Germany.
Awesome. Operthausen, where is that in Germany? I've
It's
been there
just
before.
outside of Frankfurt. It's a little
Okay,
sleepy little village. I like it here because it's just nice and quiet and relaxed.
that's awesome. Well, we're going to touch on your traveling around the world here in a little bit, Steve, but for people who don't know who you are, maybe you can give us kind of like a 50,000-mile view. Who is Steve Maxwell, and what is he hoping to teach people today?
Well, I've been a guy that's been around for a while. I've been training for over a half century. Started when I was around 10 years old. And been at it ever since. I knew when I was a little kid that I wanted to be a health and physical education teacher, and of course I just made a seg from working in public school systems to adult fitness. Had my own dream gym called Maxwell for many years, and then it was a short step to going on the seminar circuit. I had made a name for myself in the Philadelphia area and became nationally known. And next thing you know, I'm internationally known and just traveling the world, doing my thing, teaching people about fitness and health and longevity. I've worn a lot of hats in my time. I've been involved with a lot of different movements. One of the original kettlebellers, the first guy to be actually teaching group kettlebell classes in the United States. One of the first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts to get his black belt directly from the Gracie family. Da 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 da. I'm pretty proud of a lot of the accomplishments that I've done. I've seen a lot of stuff come and go, and a lot of stuff that should have gone.
That's fantastic, Steve. So you mentioned something there I don't want to glaze over. You said you've been training for the better part of half of a century, right?
That's correct.
And so that's what people need to realize. Most people talk about, a decade of experience, 20 years of experience. You're talking about over 50 years of experience in health and wellness. And obviously you're looking a lot into longevity these days, which is fantastic. I'd love to share those tips later. But one of the things
that happens as you get older.
yeah. You start thinking about, I need to be healthy. So Steve, you just mentioned you've seen a lot of stuff come and go, some that should have gone a little bit earlier. I know you originally from the RKC about a decade ago, and I'm wondering, what do you think right now is happening in the fitness industry that maybe should be going, and what do you think that's happening right now that perhaps should get more attention?
Well, people, especially in the United States, it's always about fads, it seems. It seems like they just need some kind of shtick,
Yeah.
They can't be satisfied with just the tried and true, proven simple. I mean, truth be known, there really wouldn't be any money to be made in the fitness industry if people just did what really works, and that's just simple, basic strength movements, whether that's with a barbell, dumbbells, body weight, or kettlebells. And just eat a decent diet. That's it. There's no secrets. There's no tricks. There's no super supplements. There's no pills, powders, potions. There's nothing other than just what I just said. But people can't seem to wrap their mind around that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are very resistant about doing strength exercise. There's like a real fear of it somehow, and people are always getting confused between recreation and fitness. They confuse recreational activities with actually training and working out. One of the confusions is because a certain group of people that do a particular activity look great, people assume that if they do that activity, they too will look great.
Sure.
Not understanding that the physique is successful in the activity. The activity does not make the physique or the body or the fitness or whatever.
Interesting.
Give you a perfect example. Women often talk about the dancer's body. How often have you heard that?
Yeah, sure.
I want the dancer's body. In truth, people could just dance, forever and never look like a professional dancer. These pro dancers have fabulous bodies because that type of physique, the long legs, the short torso, that is successful at doing dance.
Right.
So if you're a small person and you're about as wide as you are tall, you can dance forever, and it's not going to make that much of a difference. Same thing with sprinters. People look at sprinters and say, oh, they're so muscular, and I'm going to go out there and do a lot of 100-meter runs because I, too, want to look like this unbelievable sprinter, not realizing that guys that have that propensity for that type of genetic physique are going to do well at sprinting. So it's like they get the cart before the horse.
Yeah, that's so
Activities,
interesting.
basically, general strength training is what everyone should be doing.
Yeah, yeah,
And if you want to do these activities, fine. Don't think it can replace general strength training. It
yeah.
cannot.
So everybody out there should be doing some sort of foundation of strength
Some
training.
form of strength training.
Yeah,
I mean, people talk about anti-aging and all that kind of stuff. Man, I'll tell you, one of the things that really goes. I'm starting to feel that now myself at 61. Is you start to lose your muscle mass pretty quick. It's called sarcopenia. It happens to everyone over 40, and it gradually sets in. And these guys that have never done any weight training or don't do weight training, just always play sports and stuff, they're going to find themselves pretty immobile, when they get to their later years. So it's pretty key to try to keep as much strength and as much muscle mass as you can. And people say, "Oh, I don't want to get that bulky look." Man, I'm telling you. Most people couldn't get a bulky look even if they wanted to. It's not easy to put on muscle.
yeah. That's so funny.
It's really important to stay with it.
I tell people when they're looking at the bulky thing, is like, okay, here's the physique that you don't want. Here's your lousy physique right here. You're going to have to cross the chasm. At some point, you can tell me you're too bulky and we'll stop. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
it's not like you wake up and get out of bed one morning and say, "Oh my God, muscles!"
If it were only that simple, right?
Right. I mean, it's not that simple at all. But it does become more and more important as you age to keep a good, productive, sane strength program.
Yeah.
You were talking about what probably should go. I've been pretty outspoken critic of the CrossFit movement.
Sure.
I see that as like really being deleterious to a lot of people's health and well-being. Terrible reputation for injury. And the problem is, it makes no rhyme or reason. Sure, the workouts are hard; they're pretty intense, but the goal is completely backwards. The goal shouldn't be to see how much weight you can throw around or how many reps you can do in something, because that's artificial. Think about it. If I said to you right now, "Hey, Tyler, let's do some push-ups," we'd probably use reasonably good form, or let's do some pull-ups. But I said, "Hey, Tyler, I bet you $20 that this old man could do more pull-ups than you." You think that the form would go right out the window?
Oh,
And
yeah.
we'd just be doing all sorts of goofy stuff like bouncing and yanking our shoulders and just doing any crazy, silly stuff just so we could beat each other.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you start putting competition in there and you come up with these arbitrary numbers,
Yeah.
So, form goes out the window and people start really hurting themselves.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not a good model for people to do. I do understand that it is very motivating to people. But I mean, in truth, I think competitive people, they should find a real sport to compete at.
Right.
You can't compete in exercise. That's insane, man.
Well, you can nowadays, and it's worth $250,000 if you win.
Can, but no one ever said it was healthy.
Yeah, no.
And as a guy that played, combat sports, combat martial arts, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, judo, Russian sambo, various forms of striking arts, I can tell you, it's not healthy. No one ever said it's healthy, and it probably is life-shortening. It was certainly fun when I did it, but it does take a toll on his body and so forth. So, I know what it's like to play around with a somewhat violent competitive sport.
Yeah.
But it does seem kind of crazy to me to be ripping your body apart with exercise. I'd rather do that in the mat.
Yeah.
But some other guys should try to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you brought up such an interesting point there, which is, the safety of exercise. And that's something that's like, a lot of people kind of talk about here and there. Say CrossFit, oh, well, it's unsafe. Oh, no, it's fine if you have a good coach. And then there's a lot of other different activities as well. I mean, I don't know about you, but if you go to just a regular local gym, you're going to see people just doing, bodyweight boot camps, and they still have atrocious form as well. And so what is the real key to maybe building strength and building longevity safely?